Doing music, making it into something sustainable is not something that has a pre-written path. You just have to figure it out, and you have to persevere and survive all the different levels. And when you succeed, that's when people really can buy in and say, oh, like this route actually can make sense. It's not just a song, it's projects, it's a sound, it's a world, it's aesthetic, it's a culture, and that's when it really clicked for people. It's all about confidence. I wanted to give people confidence. I wanted to make them feel like they were riding a Batmobile at night on the way to a mission. And if, whether you know what that feels like, you don't know, you put on the records and you can accomplish whatever you want to accomplish.
So what's going on, man? Welcome to Miami, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ultra. That's what's going on.
So you said you flew in Friday, right?
I did, yeah.
Would you do a pop-up?
Yeah, I popped into Wynwood, did a little surprise thing at one of the brownie lemonade things.
Yeah.
And then just chilled, and then here we are.
That's what's up. What do you think about Miami as a city?
I love Miami. I think it's just a great place for a lot of different cultures, and I mean, especially dance music.
Yeah. It's really huge here. It's crazy. I mean, Miami Music Week is like one of the biggest weeks. It's like this and ADE, I feel like, for dance music fans, like when the most artists are in one place playing. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's like it's the biggest convention ever, right?
Straight up, dude.
Yeah.
Straight up. And you're playing Ultra in like a few hours. I mean, how many Ultras have you played?
This is my second. The first time was before the pandemic, which I felt like was such a different generation of fans.
Yeah.
You know, and this will be my first time kind of doing something like this post-pandemic.
Yeah. So, like, we were kind of talking about this earlier, like, different waves of, like, dance music fans and, like, new generations coming in. How do you think, like, from pre-COVID, like, how dance music was in the fans in comparison to now post-COVID? Like, do you notice a difference in, like, culture and what's going on?
Yeah, I think pre-pandemic, I think there was a continuity from a lot of the kind of festivals that was happening on, and definitely I think it birthed a lot from music and songs.
Yeah.
And I think right now there's kind of it's a lot more kind of like the culture, subcultures of a lot of different DJs and artists and their units. And you know, like for instance in Europe, I think the culture comes first and then the song comes out of that culture, and it just is something that comes out when people are playing it and playing a bunch of IDs and stuff, and it's like boom, one song just pops off and people are like, this is what it feels good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yo, so early on in your career, I guess, like when you started Zoo, it was an anonymous project technically, right? Like you didn't.
Yeah.
And how long were you anonymous for?
I tried to go as long as I could, you know, but eventually it just got so big that I couldn't really escape it. And I think by 17, 18, it was just kind of like, it was just what I am, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What made you want to like not be anonymous anymore? And like, did you notice a change after that?
What? I just thought if people already know who I am, there was just no need to hide it, you know what I mean? So in the beginning with Night Day and a lot of the records on there, it just felt good to be in a dark room at night with some neon lights and listen to that. And that's the way I wanted people to hear it and experience it, you know? And that's what they did. And as the music evolved, there was no need to pretend to be anonymous after a bunch of people knew who I was. So
yeah.
I just, you naturally you got to evolve.
Especially Fade got nominated for a Grammy, right?
Yeah, it was fast. Fast.
So like, yeah, being anonymous and getting nominated for a Grammy is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that was The early days were crazy. I remember the first show after that, it was in Australia because the record, just blew up in Australia. And the first show I've ever played was in front of 12,000 people at a festival called Listen Up. And we had a screen there, and I was behind the screen, and everybody knew the words to the song without even knowing who I was. And that was just kind of wild.
Wait, so you had like a screen covering you playing?
Yeah, it was a transparent screen in the front, and we projected visuals from the front and the back. So it was just a shadow of my body for the first 10 to 15 shows.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. Do you still have videos from that?
It's probably on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, it absolutely
is.
Rip
that shit somewhere. Yeah.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. So what would you say was the year that you really broke out?
I think Zoo probably became, an identity in a world in people's minds I'd say from 2016 to 2018, you know, in the beginning it was like the song Faded, and then later on people were able to walk into my world and understand, okay, it's not just a song, it's projects, it's a sound, it's a world, it's aesthetic, it's a culture, and I think that's when it really clicked for people. So I mean, that's what an artist, I think, is supposed to do. They're supposed to push the boundaries. They're supposed to be a conduit for energies and what the world is unable to communicate, and they're able to take that and find a way to communicate it so that people can understand and feel things that they themselves are not able to express.
Yeah. What's like the feeling and like the vision like behind Zoo and the music that you're trying to portray with people when they listen to it?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like, it's all about confidence. I wanted to give people confidence. I wanted to make them feel like, you know, they were riding, you know, in a Batmobile at night on the way to a mission.
Fuck yeah.
You know what I mean? And if whether you know what that feels like, you don't know, you put on the records and you can accomplish whatever you want to accomplish.
I love that. I love hearing you say that. It does feel like that. The Batmobile.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. That is what's up. And so you're San Francisco native, right?
Yeah, I am.
And like, have you had influences in your music from where you grew up over there, or where did that come from?
San Francisco is rich, man. 70s had CCR, you know, then you had in the 80s, you had Huey Lewis, you had Sly and the Family Stone, you had, you know, people in the area like Metallica, Fleetwood Mac, and then to the 90s, you know, and then to the 2000s with hip hop and hyphy, 40, Too Short. So it's history over history, Grateful Dead. So for me, music culture in the Bay Area is a melting pot.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a cultural melting pot from like the hippies and the psychedelic era all the way to the Haight and Ashbury kind of like punk stuff to the just like, let's pull up a car and do donuts, hyphy era. And that's all things that to me, you know, resonate with just what I'm making and the energy of the moment.
Yeah.
And each of those, I feel like in their decades or in their eras was what the people were doing, you know, and that was always counterculture.
Yeah. You also played at the mayor's inauguration, right?
Yeah.
What was that like, man?
The street, it was just, I couldn't see it was just people like all the way down the blocks, and it's cool to see a city be able to just throw some shows and let the people come out and just experience music. And I think it's important. That's why Miami with Miami Music Week, it's just good. It's good for the culture.
Yeah, no, absolutely, it really is. The show looked insane, by the way.
It was, yeah.
It looked absolutely insane. Did your family get behind you, like wanting to be an artist early on when you wanted to do it?
I don't think they understood, you know, but again, I don't think anyone understands, like, doing music, making it into something sustainable is not something that has a pre-written path. So you just have to figure it out, and you have to persevere and survive all the, you know, different levels. And when you succeed, that's when people really can buy in and say, oh, like this route actually can make sense. Yeah. And it wasn't really until that they understood. But, you know, I think they were always supportive. They understood that I had, you know, a deep desire to be able to, you know, take things that I couldn't express and find a different way, if it wasn't verbal, to, you know, outlet it somehow.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Was music always like the original goal, or like did you have another job at one point that if music didn't work out, you were going to do that?
Man, no.
No, it was just always this?
I think it was just always going to be this. Because it's like, for some people, they need it. By that, I just mean like, you know, if you have things you need to express and you have things that are pent up, like, it's got to come out. And some people it's through writing, some people through music, some people through making a film, some people through designing stuff, some people through, you know, and whatever format it is. And for me, it was early on, it was just like, this is the language that I knew how to communicate in.
Yeah, so based off of like your music and like your vision with how you want to create like a feeling, like we talked about, like a Batmobile and giving confidence, who are some other like dope artists that you've collaborated with that you think like share a similar vision as you?
Yeah, so you know, on the Ringo's Desert record, I did a record with Majid Jordan. Like, I really love, like, that kind of 90s R&B, smooth, kind of like driving feeling, and putting them on something that's a bit more electronic. I thought that was dope. I did something early on with Bone Thugs, and Crazy Bone. He's a really smart kind of guy, and he was telling me about kind of early Bone Thugs days too, and I mean, these are just kind of different people with different cultures and different backgrounds that I was able to communicate, with them through kind of the production and also the sound, which is at the end of the day what's about, right? Because music is a conversation. So
yeah, absolutely. Music comes first, right? That's what David Guetta was saying yesterday. He was saying a lot of artists are focused on like lifestyle and stuff, and not as much about the music. And he's like, yo, it's 100% about the music first.
It's 100% about the music.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, lifestyle can be distracting because at some point everybody's selling something, and everybody's guilty of it. At some point, like, I want to sell some things because I want people to be able to feel it through other avenues. But when it comes full circle, the thing that they're going to feel it at a max 100% is the music.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of the music, what are your plans for 2026 with music?
Yeah, so I'm about to drop an album called Black Midas on April 24th. This is kind of Zoo going back to like classic Zoo.
Let's
which
go.
Is like the dance floor.
Let's go. And are you going to be playing that at Ultra today?
Yeah, I'm going to play some songs off it, and I'm going to play some hits, and I'm going to play some different bangers, and my Ultra set will just be a combination of the new and the old, the classics.
Nice. I always like asking this because like someone like you that has been relevant and had hits, like who are some dope rising artists in the dance scene that you like?
Yeah, right now I think sonic wise, I really dig Max Styler. I think like production wise, like he has a great balance between just like heavy shit and also just groovy. And I really there's people who understand like simplicity and grooves. I feel like his stuff is dope. I really like I kind of fuck with some of Omar Plaza stuff.
Fire.
And because R&B house, I think it has a certain texture to it.
Dude, absolutely. Fire. Those are two great choices. They're killing it right now too.
Yeah.
Max Styler was just nominated #1 producer for in the world for 1001 Tracklist. His music is so good. We were watching his set the other day. He did an open to close 5-hour where he played and there was 0 people in the crowd, which is a crazy concept.
Yeah.
Straight up wild. Yo, so what would you say are your top 5 Zoo songs you've ever released?
That I've ever released?
Yeah.
Like, we're crate digging, or are we going with hits?
We're going with whatever you. Yeah, I'm talking about you, dude.
Okay, me.
Yeah, your favorites.
Okay, let's see. I'd say Dreams with Nero, In the Morning, Palm of My Hand.
Yeah, no one said it was gonna be easy.
Interesting, I'd say. I mean, the one with Skrillex and they working for it.
Yep.
I mean, I have to put either Faded or Cocaine Model on there, so one of the two.
Hell yeah, we'll put both of them, man. We'll put both of them. So this is probably gonna get released after Ultra. So, well, obviously Ultra's happening today. So, where can people see Zoo for the rest of the year?
Yeah, the rest of this year, we're gonna be doing a lot of the Blacklist parties, which is kind of.
Yeah, can you talk about what Blacklist is?
Yeah, Blacklist is a concept started in 2017 that kind of was the opposite of a lot of the big stage festival and big shows that was happening at that time. And, I decided, hey, look, I just wanted to go somewhere, no production, no $1 million laser rig, no pyro, no this, just bodies, dancing, a dark room, music. And it started in New York in Capitol, which was in the Bowery. And just us doing a 8-hour party.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And the one thing was like, come wearing black because you're gonna feel like everybody. And that was kind of the concept behind that. My thought was like, look, if you don't have to really think about what you're gonna wear, it's simple. You know where it is. If we release address last minute, you don't gotta. So you just go in your closet, grab something you already have. Boom, you're out. And everything was very kind of a surprise for people. And to me, that was kind of a reminder of no matter how big the stages get, like At the end of the day, it is really about the music that people want to gather together in dance, and that's why that's why I got into it. That, you know, the initial records that blew up were inspired by me going to raves, not necessarily me sitting in a bedroom making a beat. And I don't want my music to be just played, you know, in a vacuum.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, your music was actually part of the reason why I got into dance music, by the way, back in 2016, 18. It's actually part of the influence why I started working in it, dude. So
wow.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you, man.
That's
making
awesome.
some dope stuff, dude. But yo, we appreciate you coming in today.
Yeah.
Much love, brother.
Thank you.
Peace out.
All right.
Peace.